Sinds eind jaren 70 zijn er meer dan 46 miljoen mensen wereldwijd gestorven aan de gevolgen van het HIV-AIDS-virus. Ruim 28 miljoen van hen leefden in Afrika. In Zuid-Afrika worden er dagelijks 6000 mensen met het HIV-virus besmet. Per jaar sterven er alleen al in Zuid-Afrika zo'n 200.000 mensen als gevolg van deze slopende ziekte die vooral de actieve beroepsbevolking van mensen tussen 15 en 45 jaar treft. Afrika, het verloren continent. In 1995 werd met Nederlands geld in Zuid-Afrika een anti-AIDS vaccinatieprogramma opgezet door het Rode Kruis Kinderziekenhuis in Kaapstad, dat vandaag de dag is uitgegroeid tot een van de meest effectieve AIDS-bestrijdingsprojecten van Afrika. Dankzij de Nederlandse ondersteuning werd een mensenleven reddend programma opgezet dat inmiddels model heeft gestaan voor vele andere AIDS-bestrijdingsprogramma's in de wereld. Dankzij dit project, met de naam Thuthuzela Abantwana, Zorg voor Kinderen in Xhosa, ontdekten de medische specialisten Dr. John Burgess en professor Craig Hussey van het Rode Kruis Kinderziekenhuis dat voorkomen kan worden dat het HIV-virus van een zwangere vrouw overgedragen wordt op haar ongeboren kind wanneer beide aidsremmende medicijnen ontvangen tijdens de bevalling. Deze ontdekking, midden jaren 90, heeft sindsdien vele kinderlevens gered. Het project dankt haar succes vooral aan de oprichting van een groot netwerk van Xhosa-sprekende vrouwen uit de sloppenwijken zelf, die al 10 jaar lang als AIDS-counselors door het ziekenhuis getraind worden. Door dit eerste zogenaamde community-based project werd de grote angst voor en het taboe rond de ziekte AIDS langzaam doorbroken, waardoor AIDS-slachtoffers nu naar het ziekenhuis gaan om zich te laten behandelen. Een HIV-geïnfecteerde zwangere vrouw draagt het virus voor 30% over op haar ongeboren kind. Voor 70% beschermt de placenta het kind tegen een HIV-infectie. Zelfs nadat een kind door aidsremmers tijdens de bevalling gezond ter wereld is gekomen, kan het alsnog geïnfecteerd worden door het drinken van moedermelk. Door het toedienen van melkflesvoeding direct na de geboorte kan voorkomen worden dat het HIV-AIDS-virus alsnog aan de zuigeling wordt overgedragen. Toch zijn er nog vele zwangere vrouwen die niet tijdig door het netwerk van AIDS-counselors bereikt worden. De moeders die iedere dinsdagochtend met hun kinderen naar de AIDS-kliniek komen, hebben helaas nog wel het virus aan hun kinderen overgedragen. Dr. John Burgess was in 1995 samen met professor Craig Hussey een van de oprichters van het eerste community-based project, dat in de gemeenschap rond Kaapstad nu zelf gedragen wordt.
One of the big things of managing HIV-infected patients is the fact that it's a family, it's a community disease, and home-based care is very important. We embarked upon a project, a research project, Thuthuzela Abantwana, in which people were empowered within the community to look after their community. Out of that has grown the healthcare workers from Wolanani. We are the only clinic at the hospital that has got its own dedicated counsellors and translators, and it makes a huge difference for the running of these patients and the running the clinic and the follow-up. These ladies who work for Wolanani go out, they know the people with whom they are in contact, they know the patients, and we get very good feedback and cooperation from everybody. That this project and Wolanani actually got off the ground and the home-based care got off. It's now self-supporting. Unfortunately, a lot of the children we see are already severely affected and infected, and it's not only with the HIV virus, but it's with the chronic lung disease that they've got mainly, or the chronic gastro. And it's more now of a mechanical problem that they have than an infective or a disease process as such. And I think we missed the boat on a lot of the patients as far as that's concerned. So it would be nice to have antiretrovirals freely available, that we could treat them when it's really going to make an impact, and not when it's almost like salvage therapy, which unfortunately a lot of it is at the moment.
Ondanks de revolutionaire ontdekking door Dr. John Burgess en professor Craig Hussey en het startende kapitaal uit Nederland, kon in latere jaren vanwege geldgebrek maar aan een beperkt aantal zwangere vrouwen aidsremmende medicijnen worden gegeven tijdens de bevalling. Voor anderen waren er vanwege geldgebrek geen medicijnen. Tijdens het spreekuur van professor Hussey, dat iedere dinsdagochtend gehouden wordt in het ziekenhuis, wordt aan besmette kinderen zoveel mogelijk medische hulp gegeven als mogelijk is.
Hey, how's Wadi doing? You're doing well?
We try to run a family-centered clinic, and what we do is to provide them with basic support in terms of counseling. We provide them with specific preventative therapy to prevent them from developing opportunistic infections. And in a small proportion of cases we provide them with antiretroviral therapy. As I said, this is limited because we have limited access in terms of funds to provide everybody with treatment.
Okay, so one is now on, he's now week 20 now, eh? He's had 5 months of treatment with heart, right? Is he taking his medicines?
Yes.
You give it every day? There's no problems?
No.
He's not vomiting it up or anything?
There was a need to actually treat our patients. As it's well known to date, the state's response has been not to provide any antiretroviral therapy for persons living with HIV/AIDS. And over the last year we've tried to set up an access program for persons living with HIV, and we've raised some money to start treating children, and to date we have plus minus 80 to 90 children on the treatment program, which has been going for about a year. And clearly, the need is far greater than what we can provide at the moment, and our resources are extremely limited in terms of providing care and treatment for children as well as their mothers with HIV infection. Obviously, ultimately, the idea is to prevent children from becoming infected with HIV. And for that there is a policy that has been implemented throughout the Western Cape and in many parts of South Africa, and that's what is called the PMTCT, the Prevention of Mother-to-Child Transmission Program. This is a program that's being run by the Department of Health at a national and provincial level, and what the program does is to offer screening for all pregnant women attending antenatal clinics. And women who are identified as being HIV positive are offered antiretroviral therapy as soon as they're going to labor.
Als opvolger van Dr. John Burgess en professor Craig Hussey is Dr. Brian Ely van het Rode Kruis Kinderziekenhuis vandaag de dag belast met het antivirale vaccinatieprogramma voor zwangere vrouwen en hun kinderen.
What would be the optimal situation is to identify all the pregnant women who have HIV infection during pregnancy. And optimally, those mothers who require triple therapy for life would receive it. Those who require it to prevent mother-to-child intervention would receive it for the duration of their pregnancies. And thereafter one would then focus on the children to establish which of the children resulting from those pregnancies and those interventions did in fact develop HIV infection, and then using clinical and immunological criteria establish the ideal time for starting those children on therapy. So essentially what one would like to do if one had sufficient funds is to develop and put in place a comprehensive program for managing families with HIV infection, and to manage them optimally to the point that you can have healthy families, you can sustain and maintain families so that children can grow up in a normal, healthy family environment, and in so doing realize their objectives as children and also the parents' objectives as adults and parents.
I think the ideal is to put a lot of effort and a lot of time and money into the mother-to-child prevention programs. We know that the antiretrovirals really have a major impact in that area. Antiretrovirals in somebody who's infected will prolong their lives, but it won't cure them. Whereas we know that with the mother-to-child transmission, we can actually stop it. We can cut it right down to minimal amounts. And if I really had the power, that's where I would put all my antiretroviral money and effort into, stopping children getting infected.